Hello everyone, this is LouAnn Muir. Today we're going to talk about development planning for both mentors and mentees as part of the Physician Mentoring Project. Today we'll be covering briefly our development philosophy and then go right into the differences between coaches, mentors, and sponsors. And then we will cover a sample of a warm-up development conversation, and I'll highlight at the end some additional resources, including videos, books, and formal materials that might be of interest to you in your professional practice. So briefly, our development philosophy here at Muir is that we really should be spending half of our time developing others. And the most significant role, of course, is that we learn by doing. And in the role of leader, we practice as everyone practices. 70% of what we learn by doing, 20% through professional associations and conferences, and about 10% is in the formal classroom. So in fact, we learn to mentor by mentoring others. And we'll call out several aspects of the mentoring role for you as you develop others. So we're going to call out three roles: coaches, mentors, and sponsors. So what is the difference between the three? Let's cover a coach first. A coach asks. So the coach assumes the answer is inside you. So the coach will be asking the mentee about his or her own discernment of a situation. What do they believe? What do he and she believe is going on with the situation? And I've had people say, I met with a coach, but all they did was ask me questions. And that's our chance to step back and appreciate, yes, that is a formal coaching role. The belief behind a coach is that the answer lies within the other person. The coach will be asking questions to guide the mentee to his or her own answer. They'll be encouraging you to do your own analysis and create your own strategies. And then we'll be trying to ask those powerful questions that would cause you to discern, as a mentee, am I completely understanding the situation? Am I exploring it from all possibilities? Am I making major assumptions? So the coach is asking the mentee to discern what is really going on and what is in front of him or her. A mentor, on the other hand, is using his or her own perspective to guide. And instead of asking the mentee to speak from his or her own perspective and just ask questions, a mentor would be saying, well, in my experience, this is what I would understand. In my experience, you may wish to consider this or that. So a mentor is using his or her own lens of experience to guide the other person, and it's more of a directive conversation. And the mentor is in the formal mentoring role, saying, I've been there, I can guide you, let me give you some advice. And that hard-won self-knowledge of the mentor is what is sought by the mentee. And we have one third role that you could play in a mentoring situation. That is classically called a sponsor. A sponsor is a person who sees potential in you and is guiding your career and promoting you, both in public and in private. So a sponsor is acting inside the organization to find new roles and opportunities for you, is seeking those for you. Sometimes a sponsor can sort of seed your candidacy for a certain role or certain initiative by promoting you and adding you to grants or giving you opportunities to speak in public and in professional associations. A sponsor is a master networker who is using his or her own organizational and financial backing in a professional sense to promote you and to expose you to other areas where you can enrich your experiences and be ready for an opportunity. A sponsor actually doesn't just develop you, but a sponsor parts the waters. A sponsor actually positions you to take advantage of current opportunities And that can be broadly interpreted outside the organization. It can be in a university setting. It can be with philanthropy, where we learn about volunteerism. And it can be in professional associations or national networking or regional networking on your behalf. So that is the primary difference between those three roles. You will, in your mentoring practice, have a chance to play all three roles, and the opportunity here is to not overplay any one role, but to use a few of those perspectives as you guide your mentee. So how would you actually host a development conversation for your mentee? I would suggest a simple model to focus first on his or her capabilities and begin that conversation with perhaps what you see as that person's huge capabilities. What do you see in their background that you would trust? What is their reputation that others acknowledge as core capabilities they bring to any setting? And you can ask them to reveal some of their own capabilities as they see them. Where are they strongest? And of course, we all have some challenged areas, but our goal here is to lead with strengths, and the strength of reputation is also a role you can help them explore. I would then focus on aspirations. Where does this individual want to see his or her career go? Professional associations can also include some personal aspirations. And this doesn't need to be limited to a role, but can describe richly the kind of life he or she wishes to live and the kind of definition of success that he or she brings. And we all know that one person's role is a nightmare for them, and if for someone else it could be a dream come true. So discerning his or her own aspirations and exploring that person's definition of success is the purpose of that part of the conversation. I would also call forward exploring their core values and character a little bit, because we all make decisions in our life, professional and personal, that are focused primarily on what we see as a must-have in our life. And I've seen people turn down tremendous opportunities because they were out of alignment with their core values, their personal definition of success. And that, of course, is quite holistic. It's personal life, it's professional life, it can be what they see as their position in the community or supporting others. And if you talk about them as their own valued end, you will be better positioned to understand how to sponsor them or to give advice in a mentoring role or even ask questions in a coaching role. And as you explore each of those, you will then be able to move into organizational opportunities that might be of interest to him or her. And I would encourage you to get quite specific around some of the strategies where you could help them position themselves, or you could position them to take advantage of the opportunities. What would it look like if something were in the center of the Venn diagram? And as part of this conversation, you also will probably find them exploring some of their own fears or assumptions about things that could go wrong or could go out of alignment if they took advantage of certain kinds of opportunities or training or development. And the opportunity in discussing fears is to test the assumptions. Do they, in fact, really understand the nature of hesitation or what they see as a potential downside to any opportunity? And this is an area where a mentor could help allay fears, or could, in fact, help that person in a coaching role discern their own, the core of their own fears. It will come up indirectly, but I would say that testing assumptions is the primary role you can play as they reveal some of their own concerns around their future. So the additional resources that are available to you as you have these conversations include a set of books. Probably the best book out there is called Coactive Coaching, New Skills for Coaching People Toward Success in Work and Life. It's my favorite. There are also a number of articles here. These tend to be popular articles such as HBR or the classic training field. But if you feel like you or your mentee would like to explore the roles of being coached or coaching others, there are also a number of YouTube informational videos that we call forward at the end. We have a Word version of this screen in which you can click in and actually explore using some of these videos or books in your own practice. So I hope this is of help to you. Again, it's LouAnn Muir. I'm happy to take any inquiries, emails, or phone inquiries to know how to best support you as you give developmental support to your mentee. So thank you very much for your time and the investment you're making on behalf of your mentee and the Moors.